Hey BookTube, surprise, surprise, I've got another book haul. Who would have thought addiction is an ugly thing? Before I get started, because I've got like 10 books to show you, plus a book on the iPad, I wanted to discuss what I'm currently reading and get some of your thoughts on it. I know that a lot of people on BookTube love Erin Morgenstern's The Night Circus. I am having a bit of difficulty with it, and it might just be the audiobook, although I doubt it, kind of. Despite some amazing world building and some beautiful, very lyrical writing, I'm not connected to the characters because the POV of the book is so omniscient that I'm not really feeling like I know their internal motives and things like that. I'm feeling very disconnected from the characters, and that's kind of hard, considering I wanted to like it, and I just can't get through it. If you have read it and have done a book review of this book, I would love it if you would link to this video down below. Or if you've read it and think that there's good reason for me to continue reading it, let me know those reasons, because at this point, I think I'm moving on. I am in addition reading Alexander McCall Smith's new Professor von Eaglefeld book called Unusual Uses for Olive Oil. This is another fun book which follows a philologist, a linguistics professor in Germany, and he has absolutely no social skills and gets into lots of trouble. And in this one, he meets the Mercedes-Benz heir and goes on a date with her, and it screws it up, and there's lots of other stories. It's actually a bunch of short stories that are really interwoven, and they're really cute and kind of fun. I was reading The Hunger by Michael Grant, but I had it through the library on my Nook, and yeah, my 21 days was up, and so I'm going to have to redo that at some point, so that's another time. That's another book that didn't get finished. Do you guys get in those slumps where you go through and you're only going like halfway through a book and not finishing them and then picking up something else? That's kind of where I'm at. I was doing a little research on Kindle singles, like short stories that are sold through Kindle, like the ones for 99 cents, those ones. And I found out that Chuck Palahniuk had released one called Phoenix, which has got some amazing reviews, sort of like a return to form for him. A lot of people have not been happy with the last couple of books that he's written, and I understand that this short story has people like really buzzing. And so I was looking up that because I myself have uploaded a short story, and I will give it its own video because I feel like it's due that kind of exposure. I loved it. I love this short story. Anyway, let's get on to the books that I got this week. I picked up on Kristen Halbach's recommendation, Meg Rosoff's How I Live Now. Kristen and I were at a high school last week doing sort of a panel for students and stuff, and she's mentioned that this was like her favorite YA book ever, so I decided to pick it up. Not quite sure what it's about. So England is at war. It's not really clear what war this is. It could be some future war. It could be something like that. And 15-year-old New Yorker Daisy is sent to live in England where she can be witty and snarky and subversive. It sounds really interesting. We'll see if I like it. Adam Rex, Fat Vampire. This is actually one of the most amazing YA covers ever. It reminds me of David Snoslowski's, I can't remember his name. It reminds me of David Snoslowski's Vamped, which had a sort of a bloody juice box on the cover, which was pretty iconic and fantastic. Anyway, I got this one at Half Price Books, and it hasn't even been opened. It looks like this is a remainder book, so it's really in pristine condition except for the little black dot. And really, thank you, bookstores, for just doing the black dot and not the big old lines or gashes across the back. That's fantastic, really. Also at Half Price Books, because this past Sunday was a 50% off coupon, and I had 2 of them. I don't know if you're aware, but they are selling brand new books there at 20% off the retail price, and they will use the 50% off in addition on that. So I picked up a new copy of Marie Lou's Legend. I haven't gotten this one yet, for like $7. That was a fantastic deal. Lots of people on BookTube are loving, so yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. I picked up a couple of memoirs. The first is Gabrielle Hamilton's Blood, Bones, and Butter. It's also subtitled The Inadvertent Education of a Reluctant Chef. And I've heard lots of interesting things about this book. The bookseller was like all over it. She was like, this is like a fantastic book. So I was glad to pick that up. That one I got at Barnes & Noble, I believe. As was this, Let's Pretend This Never Happened, a mostly true memoir. We're going to be reading this for my book club. If you don't know who Jenny Lawson is, she's the bloggess on the internets, and she has a really funny blog, and she's very sarcastic and humorous, and this should be pretty amazing. Also, I picked up Lauren Groff's The Monsters of Templeton, which is a literary take on sort of lake monsters, and I got this book a while back from the library and started reading it, and it was one of those things where, like so many books, I didn't get through it all the way and had to return it, and so decided to buy it because the writing was really beautiful and very lyrical, and we'll see. I also got Robin Sloan's Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore. This is sort of a fantastical tale of like a books. It's got sort of fantasy, realistic kind of stuff going on. It's reminiscent of Haruki Murakami, I guess. I don't know. Someone else from my book club chose it as one of our book club selections, so I figured I'd better pick it up. If you guys know about that book and want to elucidate me, please do. Please do. I also picked up Robert Jackson Bennett's Mr. Shivers. This one just sounded really creepy. It was in the mystery section rather than the horror section, so it sounds like a kind of serial killer novel set in the Old West during the sort of gold rush when they were laying down the tracks for the railroad and things like that. And yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. The next book I got is Hillary Jordan's When She Woke. This is a dystopian along the lines of a Margaret Atwood type of thing. I haven't heard a whole lot about it. But I've seen booktubers that really loved it. This last book that I got is something that I have been looking at in the bookstore for a very long time. At Half Price Books, actually. I don't know where you would find these in just regular bookstores, but it is a beautiful edition of Dashiell Hammett's The Maltese Falcon with silvered edges and some really beautiful in paper. It's a really gorgeous edition that doesn't look like it's ever been opened. And you know what? Frankly, I probably won't open it either. I'm going to need to get a copy of it from the library because I just want to keep it kind of pristine. It's a beautiful copy. I think it's a Franklin library edition of Franklin Mysteries. There were a few there, but this was the only one that really caught my eye as being something that I would eventually want to read. So there you have it. Has anyone read The Maltese Falcon? I've seen the movie, but I just never got around to reading the book. Anyway, yeah, that's a ton of books for 1 week. Right now, I don't have it up here with me, but I'm reading Sarah Silverman's The Bedwetter, which is absolutely not what I was expecting from her. She's a very sort of out there, semi-offensive kind of a comic, but this is really, I think she's sort of kind of opening herself up in this one, and there's some really kind of poignant stuff in it. In addition to being funny, it's really pretty good, actually. So that's all I've got for you this week. I will see you in my next video, hopefully talking about Seafoam, which is that short story I was talking about. Talk to you later.